In the past 18 months, over 200 elite female athletes have injured their anterior cruciate ligament. And now, in the PWR, there's a multitude of players racing to be fit for the World Cup, where the final is played here at the Allianz Stadium. With female athletes being up to 8 times more likely to injure their ACL than their male counterparts, the ratio may look like this, but in actuality, it looks like this. When it comes to ACL injuries in women's sport, we really are at breaking point.
Where are we going?
We're on our way to 𝘀𝗵𝗃𝗶𝗹 Stadium in Gloucester to speak to Lizzie Goulden, who plays fullback for Gloucester 𝘀𝗵𝗃𝗀. She did her ACL last season against Headen Trailfinders.
My name is Lizzie Goulden. I play fullback and a bit of fly half for Gloucester 𝘀𝗃𝗃. So it was out at 𝘀𝗵𝗃. We were playing Ealing. It was literally about a minute after I got on. So basically the ball got passed through. A girl from Ealing dropped it. It was like and then a girl was going backwards to pick it up. So I ran through to tackle the girl who had her back to me. And then it just at the last sort of before making the contact, planted this foot. And it went kind of as I was in flight to make the tackle, and then, yeah, I just knew in that moment that that was not good. I'd done my ACL previously when I was about 17, 18, and you just don't really forget the actual like feeling of it, eh? So I knew, I was like, oh, I just remember like bashing the ground, being like, it's gone, it's gone, it's gone.
People talk about feeling a pop. Did you feel that?
It's like it's like a pop, but it's like a pop and a twist. Like it's so instant, but it's that like, yeah, there's like a I don't know, like a bang almost, but you just know like your knee's not meant to go that way because it's obviously it dislocates at the time it ruptures. So I really feel I felt that, and I did my MCL at the same time, so not a full rupture, just a grade 2 on that, and I could, yeah, you know it's not meant to go that way. Yeah, I don't think people that haven't done it, I don't think would quite understand like the mental side of it. Like I think from a rugby, from a career point of view, like say you play for 10 years, like it's 10% of your career you spend out because of the length of time of it, and that is like you do feel so sort of isolated from the team. Like I don't know how people that don't have fellow ACLers get through it, because it is so, you're just on your own all the time in the gym. It's so it's tough, it's really tough. But I think, you know, I've been so lucky in a bittersweet way to have Kelsey and Sam, because you've always got someone that understands how you're feeling, and you never want anyone to feel it. You never want anyone to understand what it's like, because it's terrible. If there's anything that can be done, I think we need to embrace it and give it a try, because there's too many. We had so many in the PWR last year, the footballers, like there's got to be something that we can do more to prevent it.
To learn a bit more about what an ACL injury actually is, I visited Lanserhof at the Arts in Mayfair to speak to Dr. Arjuna Imbuldeniya, a specialist knee surgeon.
Yes, it's a really growing topic, and it's a topic of interest to me, because I treat lots of female athletes, and unfortunately a high proportion of them are injuring their ACLs for sure. It's one of 4 structures in the knee that kind of hold the 2 big knee bones together. So on this knee model, and if I hold it up to my knee, that's kind of how we orientate. So that's the ACL, it's the anterior cruciate ligament, and that sort of helps the 2 bones kind of rotate on each other when you twist and turn. It kind of stops the bones turning too much. So it gets tight when you pivot on your knee, and if there's too much force going through it, it will tear. We think it's because there are basically anatomical and maybe even hormonal differences that might be relevant between males and females. I mean, a lot of it is speculation, some of it is evidence-based, but we feel it could be due to a number of factors. So one is females have a slightly different skeleton shape to males, so they normally have a slightly wider pelvis bone, so that sometimes means their femur or leg bones come in at a sharper angle. So that means on this knee model again, instead of being quite straight, the knee's slightly angled like this, so they're a little bit more knock-kneed in general, and that could sometimes put a bit more force through the ACL. Hormonal factors that have been hypothesised are that with women, especially when they have their menstrual cycle, there's some significant hormonal changes that happen to them each month, and sometimes if the estrogen levels in particular are higher, there's a theory that can cause a bit more laxity in some of the ligaments that have estrogen receptors, and that could make the person more likely to rupture their ACL. So
perfect.
Good. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Rachel Corsie, captain for Aston Villa and Scotland.
Can you just start off by telling us a bit about Project ACL itself?
I know the people at FIFA really well who try and do as much work to just help the game grow from players' perspective, and they've come together with PFA, Nike, to essentially create a pool of people who are willing to kind of put some time and effort into collecting research and information specific to professional female athletes around all the factors that ultimately have caused there to be an understanding that women are more at risk, but ultimately just to better understand how we can prevent these injuries as much as possible. And there's virtually no information around female professional athletes because we've just not had an elite level pro environment for long enough. So there is research on women and there are research on athletes, but to make it a lot more specific, we need to start accumulating research and data on professional footballers that are female to just give us as much information that we can hopefully create some analysis and have findings that then we can bring back into the sport and actually make change.
What advice would you give to kind of a younger player who's experiencing their first ACL injury?
The main thing I think is that you really try and listen to the support and resources around you, and to almost just try and take some confidence in knowing that a lot of people have gone on this journey before you and have come through it and come out the other side with a positive outcome. It's pretty daunting at the start, I think especially younger players even more so, to think you're going to miss a year of football when you've maybe only been playing at that level for, you know, less than a year, 2 years. That's a big portion of time relative to that. So to be reassured that you'll get through that journey, you have to be really disciplined and you have to be willing to work hard, but most players are willing to do that because, you know, there's now a pathway, there's now a journey, there's now a lot to look forward to as a female athlete and a female footballer. So sort of that carrot that's at the end is just continually getting a little bit more exciting. And yeah, just because there are also other people that have gone through it before, just there's always going to be information and answers out there. So if you ever get stuck, you know, just keep looking for the person that can help you.